Welcome to part 2 of our Q&A. Our patrons asked us a long list of questions, but we were bound and determined to answer every single one of them, but also did not want it to be an hour-long video. So this is part 2, where we give you unedited, uncut answers. If you enjoyed the last one, then hopefully you'll enjoy this one. If not, skip it and wait for our next sailing adventure. So without further ado, roll that conversation.
Okay, back. Favorite movies. Shane asks, what is your favorite movie?
Oh, that's like, what's your favorite destination? All of them.
All of them.
No.
Not every movie is our favorite. No, definitely not.
Yeah, there's plenty of really crappy movies. No, but we love movies. We're big movie watchers and big movie fans.
And if I were to say I had one favorite director, it would probably be Wes Anderson. He seems to embody everything I like in a story and a visual, and just the stories he tells about adventure and love and
travel and
yeah, I wish my life was a Wes Anderson movie, and I guess kind of it sort of is.
On a much slower
less
scale. I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah. Wes Anderson is the director. Look him up. Yeah. Amazing.
There's a lot of great movies that are by him. One of my all-time favorites is Tim Burton. The problem is we love lots of people for lots of different reasons, but Tim Burton is always lots of imagination and big visuals, and I enjoy that. So he's one of my favorites. But as far as movies that have inspired us to travel, or those ones that definitely leave you with that, holy crap, we are doing the right thing, or before we left, we got us thinking we need to follow our dreams or go do what we want to do before it's too late.
Revolutionary Road, that's kind of a downer.
It will depress you, but motivate you at the same exact time.
Into the Wild.
Into the Wild, Motorcycle Diaries. You know, all of those movies that are about people taking off on adventures.
Yeah, we'll list a few more movies in the post because
they get you started.
Movie time?
Yeah.
Time travel. Okay, we got a couple of questions about time travel. If time travel existed, what advice would you give to yourselves 7 months ago?
I don't know if time travel existed that I'd be going back to give myself advice rather than just
maybe
telling
lottery numbers.
Yeah. So let's see. Advice though. Well, okay. The next question though. Let's just lump those two together.
Sailing and fun. This is from Sailing and Fun. In hindsight, what are the top 3 decisions you would have done differently to reach your goals?
Okay, so let's think. If we could go back in time 7 months ago, what 3 top things would we tell ourselves?
Okay. Number 1, be prepared to live at the dock much longer than you ever expect. Even though your boat is in really good condition and it's a great boat, it still is not a perfect boat.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Be prepared to be at the dock longer than you want to be. It just takes, boat projects take longer than we expected.
Yeah.
So let's see. That would be 1.
Okay, number 2.
2. We should have pre-thought these out.
Yeah, I know.
Give us a moment. Roll the elevator music.
Yeah. What's another word of advice?
Done differently to reach, what 3 decisions you've done differently to reach your goals? I guess because the problem is there's not much I would do differently.
Yeah.
I would tell you not to spend so much time on the toilet and just replace it all in the first place.
Oh man. Differently. Yeah, I guess we're pretty happy with the way things went. So
we feel like we've really lucked out with the decisions made, especially in the choice to buy a well taken care of boat, because we were seriously considering something that was going to be a bigger project. And if we would have gone that route, we're already overwhelmed with what we have to do on this boat, much less something that needed more. It would delay greatly the adventures. And the idea is not to be spending forever and ever and ever preparing a boat. That's fun and all, and you learn a lot, and that's great. It's character building, but it delays the adventure, which is the part of it we're in it for.
Yeah.
So if we can fast track that portion and get right to the good stuff, we will always take the shortcut.
Yeah, as long as we can afford it.
Right.
And yes, it was pushing our budget and pretty much every penny that we had, but I think it was the right decision. I feel...
Right, and even if we couldn't have made the money part work, we wouldn't have gotten the loan, or we couldn't have, whatever, then we would have
gone with a slightly smaller boat that was equally as well taken care of.
Right, or we would have just sucked it up and gone and searched hardcore for a good mono, and would have been happy with that too. So I guess we would have done whatever we...
Yeah, and I think that goes back to taking our friends, Pat and Allie, taking their advice of working with Kent, because he was like our sounding board and our rock, and in so many ways just extremely helpful.
He was our our experience. He was our knowledge, and he was what we didn't have, I guess. Yeah. And it worked out really well in that aspect. So
I don't know if that answers the question per se, but maybe we don't have an answer for it because we haven't been doing it long enough. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, like I guess maybe there's not enough hindsight, and that's as much as we've got for as far as we've come.
Yeah. Yeah. There's plenty of things I could say, but it's just not.
Yeah.
Okay, zombie apocalypse. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Ben, if there was a zombie apocalypse or something, a zombie apocalypse or something, and you could only choose one, would you A, keep your composting toilet but do all of your recording using a cell phone, or B, keep your Sony a6000 set up but go back to using an RV/marine head? So, okay, stipulations here.
Yeah.
Can I outfit this cell phone with a external microphone, wind muff,
extra
lens, and screen cover and everything, and just like totally geek it out and spend a couple grand on this cell phone for video?
Then yes. Yeah, we'll keep the composting toilet and totally shoot all video.
100%. Oh, except for if are the zombies living on these small islands.
And we can't go back because then we couldn't really get coconut core. And then that would be a problem.
Yeah. So if we'd have to fight the zombies to get coconuts to make coconut core, then I would say no, I'll keep the A6000 set up and use the marine head.
Right. But then what happens when the marine head breaks down, because they are notorious, and then we need a part?
Oof.
I feel like that is just a no-win scenario.
No. Nope, there's no answer. Nope, moving on. Thank you for that question though, Ben. Conch. Mary Vic, Conch Burger, how was it?
Well, we didn't actually order the conch burger. We have not had a conch burger yet. We have had conch fritters.
Conch fritters. We went to Rosie's in Little Grand, and it's famous for conch, but they didn't have conch burgers. They only had conch fritters. One way, and it was conch fritters.
Yeah, we went and we said, "What do you have?" And
they said conch or chicken.
Yeah, so we went with the general answer of conch, and we got conch fritters. Yeah. So.
And I would say we've had conch 3 or 4 times in the past year. Only once here in the Bahamas. It was good. It was totally fine.
Yeah, it tastes kind of like clams to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing in the world, so we're not...
If I have the option of something else, I'll most likely order something else.
Yeah, if there's a fish burger on the menu or a conch burger, I'm probably going to go for the fish burger.
Yeah.
And by the way, they call it a burger. It's not like minced up fish. It's just fish on a bun.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. Ice cream freezer situation. Sue asked, how is the ice cream supply holding up? Does that freezer help?
That is totally a me question. The ice cream supply is holding out for now, and I am glad that we have the freezer because ice cream here is expensive. So I am rationing myself very much. Little tiny portions spread out. And the freezer is huge. The little Dometic freezer that we have actually keeps ice cream frozen. A lot of times with like RVs / marine freezers, it kind of keeps it like soft serve. The only thing we've ever had that kept ice cream was an actual residential refrigerator, and this baby works for a little freezer. So
I'm happy to report she only has 2 pints. So that's a good thing and a bad thing, because it is $10 a pint here.
But I'm rationing myself.
Bite here and there. Gulfstream Crossing. Paul asks, our mast was stepped... Oh, he's telling us, our mast was stepped today at Just Cats, starting to look like a sailboat now. Only question for now is, what were your conditions crossing the stream? Winds, sea state, etc. What was your decision matrix?
Well, we just recently published our video about the crossings. You've probably seen that and got to get a visual for that.
Obviously, we asked these questions a few days ago.
Yeah.
Oops.
But as far as the decision matrix goes.
We listened to Kent's advice at Just Cats, Larry's advice. Larry's crossed the stream. I can't remember how many times he said.
Larry's also at Just Catamarans.
Yes.
He's captain.
Exactly. We asked Captain Jen, our
sailing instructor.
Yep. And took all that information, put it together, and what we came up with was...
Right. I mean, there was a ton of people that emailed us with information too, but that started to get really varied, and a lot of people who are like, well, I don't see crossings availability for you for months, and you should never, ever, ever cross with the northerly wind, period.
Yeah.
But we went with the more realistic option of...
Yes. Singa, do you have to clean yourself right there? Come on.
Take that elsewhere, bud.
Yeah. We decided to wait. We had this little tiny weather window. It was like a 2.5 day weather window where the winds calmed down. They shifted from north to east, and I believe we left in approximately 15 knots of wind.
Out of the east.
We gave it 24 or 36 hours for the seas to calm down before we left. And I think that was huge because a lot of people we talked to said...
They left earlier?
Yeah, they left like right when the weather window started and they got beat up.
Yeah, because it doesn't give the seas time to calm down because those waves and those swells come from way off. And a lot of people said don't leave with the northerly component because that goes... the opposite direction of the stream. Yeah. So it creates these really big peaks on
these waves
the waves.
That peak up and then they just fall off and then peak up.
Right, so it becomes a very brutal ride. So yeah, but we did have a little northerly component, but it was under 15 knots. And that was our general direction decision and rule based off of the reasonable advice that we had gotten, which was don't go with don't go with any northerly components over 15 knots.
Yeah.
So it can be north or northeast.
And we also have to took in consideration the fact that our boat, we were going, northeast, but we actually had to point almost straight east because the push of the Gulf Stream was pushing us this way. So that was really interesting. I think I went into detail on the post, which you've probably read by now.
Yes.
Okay. Laura, congrats on your crossing. Thank you, Laura.
Yes. Any
scary moments? Lighthouse Marina. Oh.
No, that's different. Any scary moments? No.
Right in the beginning, like the very first bit going out of Fort Lauderdale, it might have been the worst it's ever been coming out of Port Everglades.
That we've ever seen.
Yeah. Out of that specific port. And it was dark, so it was kind of we were thinking like, oh no, I hope it's not like this the whole time.
Well, we were thinking if it's like this here, what's the Gulf Stream going to be like?
But it actually got better as we went further.
Yeah. But we were lucky in the fact that we didn't have any scary moments. Nothing super scary happened. I mean, there was plenty of just like butterflies and nerves because it was all new. Yeah. But that was really it, so it was good.
Yeah. And as far as the Lighthouse Marina, I know you told us to say hello.
We're headed over there today.
For fuel.
We will say hello.
Yes, thank you for that. Okay, Connie asked, what does it feel like not seeing land? Do you sleep in shifts? Do you have some sort of alarms? Are you seeing a lot of dolphins? Catch any fish? Can't wait to hear about the conch burgers. How are the kids doing?
Okay, so a lot of questions. Yes. Hello, Connie. What does it feel like to not see land? I think it's very serene and calm and
it's almost invigorating at the same time because you're out there with nothing, and I don't know. I guess it's
so quiet that it makes you feel very teeny tiny and like the world is really big.
Yeah, we do sleep in shifts, and on that particular crossing, we kind of bopped in and out of sleep because we left at 3 a.m. So
we hadn't slept a lot the 2 previous nights, so we were tired, but we just took like 2-hour shifts.
Just little 2-hour naps, and then once the sun came out, the excitement took over, and it wasn't.
Nobody was tired anymore.
Yeah. We do have alarms, but we didn't have to really use those alarms for getting up and sleeping shifts and all that because...
That would come later with bigger crossings.
Longer crossings, for sure. We have not seen a ton of dolphins. That one experience was so special that they came and greeted us across the stream. That was...
And we've seen a few fins in it here and there, but they haven't hung around, so that's been our best dolphin experience so far.
Yeah, we have seen a couple sharks.
Yes.
Which is very interesting. We had one circling the boat a few times, and Singa was out there on top of the boat just watching it.
Yeah, probably not realizing he would be lunch. Yeah.
Catch any fish to eat? Oh, thanks for rubbing it in.
Yeah, no. More barracuda. That's about it so far, but we haven't been out on the ocean side. We've been mostly in the Sea of Abaco, which is really shallow water, not awesome for trolling.
Yeah, and the conch burger we talked about earlier. And the kids, Singa and Cleo. I don't know if you can see Singa if he's off frame, but he's basically passed out right now. They seem to be doing really well.
Yeah. They haven't had any seasickness. They seem to be champs at traveling. We get a lot of people concerned about them all the time, but we actually don't let them out while we're crossing, especially if we're not like right on top of them. It's just easier to not even let them out. We just keep them inside. We just don't even let them come out.
Health insurance. Jeff and Pat, was that it? Yeah. Oh, Harold and George. How did Jason do with the sea movement? Oh, the seasickness. So I never have gotten sick or seasick before, except for that one crazy crewing
experience.
Crewing and catamaran experience on that lagoon, what was it, a 410? On the Lagoon 410 that we took out. And that's the first time I've ever gotten sick. And I don't know what exactly the conditions were that caused that, but no, crossing at night, I couldn't see the horizon. We were bouncing. I mean, it looked like, not that bad in the video, but it was...
Yeah, I mean, we were getting some rollers. I mean, it was... Yeah. But it wasn't, it was tolerable.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, and I never felt sick, and it just, I guess, and I've never taken drugs either, so I want to embrace that when I get sick next time, if I get sick another time, that I want to know what my threshold is, what possibly caused that, so I haven't taken any drugs or anything like that when we've been on the boats.
No Bonnie, no whatever
the patches and the pills are, so, yeah, so I did well. Yay me.
Pat yourself on the back.
Health insurance. Jeff and Pat, how do you handle health insurance and health care? I've heard stories of people that set out to sail the world learning how to set bones,
etc.
How do you handle exercising, or do you get enough with everything you do?
Okay, well, health insurance, we have no flippin' idea.
No. I did talk to my tax guy, and he said if we're out of the States for more than 330 days, then we won't be fined by the government of the United States for not having health insurance. But he also told me that no matter what, our healthcare guy said, no matter what, if you're out of the country, you're not going to have health insurance anyway.
You won't get coverage anyway. So it doesn't really matter, and our goal is to not be in the United States. We are traveling abroad. We're going to be out. So we haven't figured that out yet. There are a lot of different options out there for cruisers, so we're still muddling through them all, and once we figure it out...
Oh, yeah, we'll write a post about it.
We will let you know.
Yeah.
And yes, no, we're pretty terrible about exercising.
Yeah.
We... for the most part, go on land, or we go for a swim, we go for paddles. We try to incorporate physical activity just by doing something, because we love all of the different activities, but we hate working out. We will have spontaneous dance parties if we are stuck on the boat.
Do lunges and squats and little push-ups and all that kind of stuff if we have to. But for the most part, swimming and paddling and snorkeling and scuba and fishing and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes I will manually grind the main halyard to get the mainsail up, just for a little upper body exercise.
Yeah.
Water and living off the grid. Laura, okay, this could be a dumb question. No dumb questions, Laura.
No.
But what the heck? Tell me about your freshwater situation. How much fresh water can you store? How much do you...
get on board? And how do you shower with fresh water or use seawater?
Let me pause right there and check the camera. Okay, Laura. 200 gallons of fresh water. We have 2 tanks, 100 gallons each.
And we have a water maker on board that makes 40 gallons per hour. So we're able to keep up with our water usage and needs no problem. It feels actually very luxurious most of the time, especially considering we did not have that ability in the RV. That water is like a really precious thing. So yes, we feel like we're living it up when it comes to water.
Yeah, there is one thing that we do that's kind of, I don't know, naughty or unfair. We have lithium batteries, so we do make hot water every now and then. That is like the super luxury. I know.
Yeah, flipping the switch to turn on the electric water heater.
Oh man, that's the luxury. Like most sailors or many sailors, just
you're used to taking cold water showers.
Cold water showers, and
we do that plenty of days too, where our usage is too much, especially when we're working, and But anyway, we can take hot showers.
Yeah. If we didn't have a water maker, we could conserve. In the RV, we did 50 gallons in a week approximately. So we could go for 3 weeks if we set the boat up properly with 200 gallons of water. Even longer if we jumped in the sea, rinsed, and then did a You know,
a freshwater,
quick
just a freshwater
rinse.
rinse, and that's what a lot of sailors do. They go for a swim, then come up, soap up, and then just do a freshwater rinse. So,
Carlin, I saw freshwater question. My question would be, with sailing and solar for power, what do you expect to be the limiting factor? How long can you stay out before you run out of something like food, water, etc.? I've seen the videos you setting lines for fishing. Is that something you could expect to catch a good eating fish most days? Have you ever looked into some kind of electric drive? I have no idea if there's anything practical, but I'm wondering. You already have the solar. Would something like a trolling motor have move a boat the size of yours?
whew. Okay. Let's see. With our setup,
Yes.
solar and water maker and everything else, we're pretty much good. There's not much we need to go in for. Nothing that would most certainly send us to a marina, other than if like the boat broke down, terrible something that we couldn't fix ourselves, then yes, we would need to go in. And fuel. But we don't go through much of that either. Yeah. We haven't filled up yet.
No, we're a month in or so, and we've motored quite a bit, and it's we're not even half a tank.
Yep.
Half a tanks.
Half tank on each of the engines.
I guess the main limiting factor would be people, interaction with people, and fresh veggies.
So you want to go into town sometimes just to see local life, obviously, but even at that, we do run out of fresh vegetables, and it's nice to go in for that. Even if we could catch fish all the time, you're going to want something else to go with it.
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks. I'd say 2 or 3 weeks. We'll want to touch land every few weeks.
Yeah.
Just for provisioning and maybe a coffee.
And when we say land,
people.
not civilization.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's plenty of uninhibited land that we touch all the time.
Yeah. Oh, as far as the electric drive, I know there's some really high-end boats that are doing hybrid engines with a Volvo engine and some sort of electric drive, but they're super expensive. I think that could potentially work. As far as electric drive, I think Lagoon tried it a few years ago on a catamaran.
Recalling all of them, so it's still very experimental, and I don't think it's down pat yet.
No.
And for us, we don't have experimental money to test something like that.
It would be such a major retrofit to swap out these engines.
Huge, yeah. So it's not an option for us right now, but I think the future is going that direction, and if they keep plugging away at it, then absolutely, I think it's an option. But at this moment,
no. Traveling cats, Mike. I saw a question on the cats already, but I'd like to second it. Are there any restrictions you must adhere to as you take your animals from country to country? Are they okay as far as quarantines and shots go, as long as they always stay on board Curiosity?
Okay. And then there's 2 other questions that are about cats. Also a question on cats, would like to know. And a second question on one place you've been dreaming of going. Okay, I think we answered that. And on, are you still doing your other job before you? Yes, we had said that. Anyway, questions on cats. Kathy and Ian also asked about cats, as they'll be taking 2 of their babies along for the ride also.
What do you do about food and litter? And
yes.
Yeah. We just went on a provisioning run in the island right back there.
Marsh Harbor.
And we found litter and food. It was about 20 to 30% more expensive than what you'd find at the States. But it wasn't outrageous.
No, and it was a limited selection, so it's the kind of your basic brands and limited availability, so you can't be real choosy, I don't think.
No.
But you do still have some options. It is available.
Yeah, we got 4 months before we left. We got 4 months worth of food and litter, and we thought 2 months in we would start integrating another brand of cat food so they could slowly get used to the cat food. And then same thing with the litter, using a different kind of litter, just sort of slowly mixing it in until we ran out of the stuff they like, and hopefully they'll be
that way we can transition them over to whatever it is we find for wherever it's available.
Yeah.
Luckily, our cats are not super picky.
Yeah.
As far as checking in and traveling with cats abroad, we've never really had much of an issue with that going into other countries. Most of the time you just have to check their website well in advance, the country website, see what the requirements are. Most of the time you can avoid any quarantine and anything like that if you just follow what they say, which is usually some sort of health certificate, and at a certain time, and making sure they're up on certain shots. Other than that, it's not really complicated as long as you do what they ask and do it well in advance.
Yeah, and the boat does act as a quarantine from everything we've read and what we've experienced and people we've talked to, that as long as you don't take your pets onto land, that they are in quarantine on your boat. So if you didn't get something done, it's not like you have to send them to some
other quarantine.
Yeah.
So anyway, but we haven't experienced that yet. So until we do, can't really speak on it. But from the experiences we have had, it hasn't been a really big deal.
Yeah, is that right? Yeah, so there.
Yes.
And when we checked in here in the Bahamas, that'll be coming up. It went kind of odd. You'll learn about it in the next episode. Brandon, how happy were you when the Cubbies won the World Series?
We were like, yay, Cubs!
Yay, Cubs, you broke the curse.
But
that's awesome.
We didn't watch the game, and you will probably be very sad to know then that we don't really follow sports.
No, we don't really have TV, and we haven't really had TV in the RV or anything like that. So following sports is
not really. But we kind of feel like we are not spectators, we're participators. So if we can play the game, we're all about it. But just watching it, especially on TV, is not usually our thing. But we do love sports, and we love the camaraderie and the positivity that usually comes along with that.
And maybe we'll go to a game when we're in one of these foreign countries that they're playing. That'd be fun.
When you're at a live game, it's a different experience altogether. So, yes, go Cubs.
Go Cubs. Sox too, I guess. Anyway, last few things. Just a couple comments. Brian.
They were just some positive comments that were left. They weren't actually questions from Brian, Mike, Brenda, Steve,
Brian,
Jeannie.
we wanted to tell you one thing. In your new RV adventure,
yes,
make sure you visit national parks in the shoulder seasons or off seasons, because that's like the one huge thing. We got really fortunate. We visited most when it wasn't too busy.
Yeah, especially the big ones like Yellowstone and Yosemite
and Utah.
Having those places mostly to yourself is an amazing experience.
I know you didn't ask for that. But.
No, but we're telling you anyway. Mike, Motorcycle Diaries. We mentioned that movie. If you haven't watched it yet, definitely check it out. You will like it.
Yes, Brenda, Steve,
Jeannie?
Yeah?
Janie. Henry, Chip, and Molly, thank you for the encouragement. Greatly appreciate it.
We couldn't do it without any of you. Thank you very much for being a part of the adventure.
All of you.
Wow. I hope that wasn't too much rambling. If it was too painful.
If you've made it all the way to the end.
You are really interested.
Yes.
We will put more stuff in the website on the post, and I'll link to it somewhere.
Yes. But thanks so much, and I hope you enjoyed, and thank you greatly to all of our patrons. We could not do it without you.
And we are hoping to do more of these, so if you do like it and you do enjoy it, please give us a thumbs up.
Yep.
And let us comment. And we'll try not to be so long. Try. Hey, we can't drink at the same time. I was going to show them the starfruit too.
I did.
Singa bites his tail.